Welcome back.
Welcome.
Nice. Back on the Marshall Street podcast with the one and only Juñor.
Yes, the one and only.
Fucking A. Thanks for joining us here, G.
Yeah, of course, man. Here all the time. So this is home. So why not get in on one of these, eh?
Exactly
Absolutely.
right, man. Now, for fucking those who don't know, you run Real Music, you run Dollaz, fucking prominent DJ in a lot of the fucking clubs over the past like fucking 6 or 7 years.
Yeah, man.
Do you want to give the guys, I guess, people who may not know you, just a little bit of fucking rundown on, how you got into this, what you've been doing?
Yeah, sweet. So I've been making music, I guess, since I was a kid. I'm a drummer originally. My brother, Matt, who runs everything with me, he's a guitarist. So we've been making music since we were kids. Then started to really hip-hop wasn't really a thing. There was no pathway. It was kind of, you were frowned upon if you was a rapper out here when I started doing stuff. So I only really started recording and giving it a shot when I was 18, 19 maybe, but I was writing rap since I was a little kid. I was known as the kid in the playground in primary school, writing raps and shit. But yeah, when I was 18, 19, and then just started getting, I guess, more opportunities and stuff. Bliss and Esso asked us to play some shows with them and stuff. And then me and Ivan News, who people might know, were kind of he really blew up. Me and him were making some music together. He really blew up, and I started DJing for him, even though I wasn't really a DJ because we were just working together. So I quickly became a good DJ and worked real hard on that, skilled up on that, just put the work in. And then we were touring around the country together, him rapping and me on the decks and, recording and mixing a lot of his music and stuff as well. For 5 years, man.
You guys played a fucking heap of shows.
It's ridiculous. I was never home. I was literally on the road for almost 5 years, just constant.
And there's even that fucking that Seth Century tour with that set the record for most fucking regional dates and an Australian tour.
Seth Century's tour in 2015. It was Seth Century, and then he asked Dylan, Joel, and Ivan News us to come along on the tour as well.
I remember looking at that poster, and you look at the amount of dates, and you're like, holy fucking shit.
It set the record for
impressive.
the longest hip-hop, the longest amount of shows, hip-hop tour, in Australia ever.
Yep.
So it was 50 shows, 3.5 months. And
to do a 3.5 month tour in Australia is just unheard of.
Some of the places I've seen, bro. Some of the places I've seen. I can't remember. There's this one place. Is there a place in Perth in Western Australia called Armadale or some shit that?
Yeah, probably, yeah.
Yep. Anyway, it's I remember we were going to the city because you'd wake up in a new place every single day, you know what I mean? Go to a new town every single day. And it was my ritual every single day because I was the one weed smoker on tour. I just dropped a bomb. No one else smoked weed on that tour.
Yeah.
Not Seth, no. It was, maybe a couple of times. But so I was constantly every day picking up in town, walking to new town, smoking in the morning, you know what I mean? It was beautiful. And then they kept telling me, when we were in Western Australia, we're going to this one place, Armadale. It's rated by the police and everything is the most dangerous nightlife city in Australia, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, fucking hell, where are we right now? You know what I mean? Where the fuck are we? And so we get there and it's dingy as fuck and literally not a word of a joke. Every single act, us, Dylan, Joel, and Seth, every single act that played that night, I don't think we did a sound check. We got in there just before we played our fucking show and got the fuck out of there. It was like that. No one wanted to be in there, nothing. All these stories, everything, and it just looked dingy as hell as well. They had stories of oh, they got rid of the, I think when we got there, they're they got rid of the plastic thing in front of the stage. They used to have a shield in front of the stage. We'd be playing this and we're getting out of here.
Oh, wow.
I was imagining 80s movies where people are throwing
Blues
in cage and shit.
the Blues Brothers.
So anyway, we're on the road for that. And through that, just met everyone in hip-hop across the country, especially playing 50 dates across the country. We toured with every single big international act that came out here, had studio sessions with really awesome people, and through that time just met everyone across the industry, all the other rappers and everything.
Definitely. I'll start dropping some names so you don't have to, because you guys toured with fucking Wu-Tang, Ice Cube, Cypress Hill, didn't fucking join us with Wu-Tang. For a Melbourne-based fucking, MC, DJ fucking hip-hop fucking person, your resume is fucking fairly what's the word I'm looking for? Extensive for someone based in Melbourne, when a lot of those acts, you know, we don't get a heap of fucking internationals here all the time. But to be able to roll with fucking some of those dudes the way you have over that fucking longevity, that amount of time, like, just really shows how long you've been holding down for the culture in fucking Melbourne.
Yeah, sure, bro. Yeah, it's been like, I guess we've been pretty blessed, like, to have those opportunities at the period that everything was happening as well. It was still pre, like, this current era of, like, hip-hop taking off from Australia. It was, like, kind of pre that.
Yeah.
It was kind of just after the all day started to break through kind of stage is when we kind of come through. And so it was still very early days. So, like, if we were moving now as we were back then, if it was popping off, shit would have been absolutely, like, fucking insane. But because of the timing and how we were popping off, like, we just got to, like, live and take so many opportunities during that time. Like, every act that was coming out here, we were, like, pretty much on the bill with. Like, we managed to play, like, every festival during that time, you know what I mean? And now, because it's, like, really taken off, like, I guess some of the prospects are bigger, you know what I mean? Like, overseas and this and that. But at the time, just the amount of opportunities, the amount of things that we got to experience, like, in that, you know, 4 or 5 years is just, like, you can't buy that experience, you know what I mean? Being in those 100%. Amount of spaces, meeting those amount of people, you know what I mean? It was just, a really, really good time to build. And I guess that's why I'm doing what I'm doing now with everything, because of, you know, all those contacts that I met, the amount of shit that we did during that time. As Benny was saying to anyone at home watching, like, pretty much what developed from that with all those contacts and everything was, like, starting at Dollaz. Because I knew every fucking artist across the country, was homies with every single crew in every single state, you know what I mean? There was no platform to support our whole generation. Was able to start that and have the trust of everyone because they'd seen me and known me personally everywhere across the country, you know what I mean? Having that real relatable trust and experience with everyone really allowed me to start and do these things and have that trust and, like, buy-in from the culture because they'd all known me face to face, you know what I mean? It's really hard to do that when you're just in one state, not traveling, you know what I mean?
Because there's a lot of, there's a lot, in, not just hip hop, but in every fucking genre and industry, there's always people with those fucking visions or those ideological goals that, like, cool, I want to fucking start the platform that puts fucking everyone on, which is good, and, like, the scene needs it, but coming from someone like you who's done it, who's fucking toured for months and years and has been in the culture and has been an artist and has been a performer and has been a manager who fucking runs his own label, like, that comes with a level of credibility that, you know, just brings the $80 into another fucking light. Because, like, cool, it's not just someone from the outside kind of peering in. It's like, fuck, you did this for years and years first, put the runs on the board, then fucking, you know, go to build the platform out of it. Rather than...
But I'm also not, like, myself, you know what I mean? I'm a rapper amongst all of these guys, but I'm not myself. Like, I was, you know, in that production, engineering, DJ role for this big rapper, meeting everyone, but me, myself, as, like, an artist for that side of my artistry, was still on the hustle. Yeah, I might have been getting some more opportunities, doing some bigger things, but I was still on the same hustle, in the same grind as everyone else. So starting up that platform, it's really like, fuck, that's one of us. This is us. This is for all of us. It's not someone up here trying to come down, you know what I mean? It's really like, on a things that I've done and, like, a total package kind of level, I've done so much more up here, but still grinding away as a rapper, releasing my music and stuff. I was still here with everyone. So it's that level of, fuck, this is for all of us. You know what I mean? Like, everyone really saw that, like, okay, this is all of us coming together and grinding together. And it kind of helped bring that kind of collective culture of, you know, Australian hip hop artists back in, you know, what's going on out here together, going, fuck, we all really need to support each other if we're going to blow up. Like, because it wasn't someone outside going, hey, all follow this. It was someone going, fuck, we all need to work together if we're going to do this. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Can you talk more about the state of hip hop being an underground culture moving into mainstream? Because we're seeing it now, like, hip hop is mainstream now, right? Like, I mean, there's still underground culture about it.
I think, like, Australia's just a bit far behind the rest of the world, and it is catching up now with the internet age and like how fast the world is communicating and everything. It is catching up, but it is still behind. So I feel like hip hop as a genre has really, you know, for the past, like, decade, really been mainstream, like, globally, like, super mainstream across all the branding of everything. Probably more than a decade. You look at, like, the early 2000s, like Pepsi ads and this and that, you know what I mean? Like, it's been super mainstream for ages, but just in Australian culture, because Australia's super far behind.
Yeah.
Like Australia's still a pub rock culture.
Yeah, they're late adapters of
Exactly.
kind of
exactly. And
that-
you would have seen in the last 5 years, like the rate that it's speeding up in terms of catching up to the rest of the
Yeah.
world. Some of the artists that are coming out here, you would never, ever, ever 10 years ago get an artist in their prime
Yeah.
at their first album or pre their first album as a hip hop artist coming to this country. They'd all
Yeah.
come at the end of their careers or just play a headline slot on a festival, like Kanye playing a headline slot on a festival. You'd never have those guys coming out doing their own tours, you know what I mean, 10 years ago.
I feel like there's this
Now-
Australian culture is big at, well, not big at, they're just easy to jump on people that are doing things themselves and succeeding.
Yeah,
there's
yeah.
like this, oh, fuck that guy. Like, I don't know, there's like the, what is it, tall poppy
Tall
syndrome?
poppy.
Yeah,
Where
yeah.
we like to cut down what we can't do ourselves and what we see as someone being successful. It's like, oh, they're a fucking sellout. It's
Totally.
like, they've worked fucking hard. Like,
Totally. And that's something that probably only like 3 years ago or so that the hip hop culture in Australia really said, fuck that, we got to support each other and be together. Like we have to, the way that hip hop works and always has worked, like it's really a city at a time that owns the limelight in America. So like LA would be owning the limelight at one time, or New York would be owning the limelight. And a whole city has this like a backing and a movement together. Chicago owning the limelight.
ATL,
Atlanta
yeah,
owned it
yep,
for a bit.
yep.
And so like obviously that expanded globally to like Canada with Drake and The Weeknd and everything that's going on there. Expanded to the UK, you know, in recent years as well, like the whole UK popping. And so Australia kind of realised 3 years ago, like amongst our artist community and everything, they're like, fuck, we need as a whole country, there's only what, like 25 million
Yeah,
or something.
yeah.
That's about the same as one city over there.
Yeah.
We really need to
Less.
act like one city together and
Yeah.
back each other. Fuck this tall poppy shit, fuck that. If we really act as a city together, not one artist might pop. There's going to be fucking 20 fucking artists like
Yeah.
touring globally doing this, you know what I mean? Just like it is, just like it's always been.
Yeah.
So I think really breaking down that natural tall poppy in Australia, and we're not
Was that
through it.
intentional? Did you have any talks with, say, other people in the scene?
Yeah, it's
where it
intentional
was-
as fuck.
Because I mean,
Intentional as
I've
fuck.
noticed that, like, obviously from hanging around you guys and just around artists here, and there is like, and even when I was still performing with DOIE, this was kind of pre that age, and even looking back on, you know, us, there was, we definitely weren't looking to cut anyone else down, but there was seen as this, fuck, there's only a few amount of tour supports to get announced in this
Yeah.
country.
Yeah.
There's only fucking a few of these.
Yeah.
So it's like, fuck, you did, like, and I remember in mine, there was one point when this was when I was the least happiest as a fucking artist,
Yeah.
was when we put out a single and didn't go as good as we fucking thought. We didn't get a tour support that I thought we were going to get. And then I was looking at all the fucking symptoms and byproducts, and I was like, fuck, for me, I wasn't enjoying the actual music
Yeah,
anymore.
yeah.
But it comes back to that kind of fucking headspace. And I've noticed just around here
Also,
and being
though,
around
like
you guys.
also back then though, it was more dog eat dog because there wasn't a pathway, there wasn't opportunities. It was something very new happening. So that's something I always say. Like when I first came into this, like around those first couple years of making music and playing shows and trying to get on tours, like there was no pathway. Which is why it was looked like no one had ever popped from Australia. And there was no pathway to follow. You know what I mean? The most pathway you could follow was like 360. You know what I mean? And there was such a low glass ceiling on where they can take you. So everyone wasn't really trying to, everyone was just
Yeah.
trying to go anywhere and dog
Yeah.
eat dog and really like, I'm going to be the first one to make it and do anything. You know what I mean?
Yep.
But then as it progressed, and I guess as Australia kind of progressed and still is progressing, like the mainstream of Australia catching up to the rest of the world, hip hop's becoming more important. So in these last couple of years, you've seen Australia catch up even more, and hip hop's become more important. Even the local hip hop, what's going on out here. So now there is a pathway. The UK has popped off. That
Yeah.
people have seen
Yeah.
how they've done it. Like there is a pathway for people out here making it. So it's more like it's easier to have that collective, that non-dog eat dog, like, okay, there is a spot for all of us. It's
Yeah.
easier to be able to see that now
Yep.
and to be able to support each other. So like back then, I feel it was more dog eat dog because there was no pathway. You know what I mean? There
Yep.
was no point to be collective together. You know what I mean? It was
Definitely.
just like,
And I
fuck,
think
I'm trying to
even-
make something that no one else has ever made.
yeah,
you know
there
what I
hasn't been
mean?
a roadmap
Now
before.
it's like, okay, we see there's a pathway. Some people are getting big looks. Sampa's doing big things. 1-4 getting looks overseas. Leroy's doing his thing over there. Like,
Yeah, I see.
people can see pathways now.
yeah.
So it's like, fuck it, let's all support each other. Show the world that Australia is up because we can see there's heaps of spots for us
Yep.
and we can fucking do it now. So
And
it's a
the-
lot easier to have that mindset. But yeah, it's definitely purposeful. Australia, like all the artists and shit, definitely said, let's try and put aside any beefs and not talk negative, but just talk positive about everything and support share each other's shit more. Like,
and you can feel it. You can feel it when artists are around each other. There isn't
And it's
this
hip-hop,
fuck.
so there's still beef,
If his fucking single,
Yeah.
blows mine, there isn't like, I can really notice it changing the scene. And I mean, even for me, it went kind of hand in hand. And when I was opening the fucking studios, like a lot of the life lessons and learnings you go through opening a business is that kind of mindset as well. It's like, fuck, I'm not in competition with any other studios. I'm in competition with myself. Like the rising tide lifts all ships.
Yeah, bro.
So I guess that kind of just went hand in hand. But I definitely see it translate now with artists. And like, I look at it as like, 100% there'll be a time when fucking that Melbourne blows, or when that fucking city, when things fucking line up, and then that list of artists that are doing good shit out of here, like everyone's going to get fucking put on.
Yeah, bro. Yeah.
So what do you say to the people that are just starting out? Like, because this scene now is, you're saying there's easier pathways and stuff like that. Back then, it still is about the hustle and the grind.
Yeah.
But like, what do you say to those people that have no idea and they're just starting out? They're like, I want to make hip hop. Like,
First thing, which is the most important thing, is be in and amongst the culture.
Yep.
Seriously, you can be out everywhere, just get in and amongst the culture. There's no point making hip hop if you don't understand the culture on a very street level, like in every single way, in a very like, I'm not saying on like no like dirt shit. I'm just saying on a very like raw culture events, what's going on from the ground up. Get to know everyone, like, because hip hop is so much more than, like, of course you can sit in your bedroom and make amazing music, but if you really want to get out there and amongst everything and, be respected and do your thing, get out and about, grind away, meet everyone. And don't be in no rush as well. Like, literally, you can be in a scene you can be around for 3 or 4 years, know everyone, play at some events, collab with people, work on your stuff, get in studios with people, go to sessions, become awesome friends, become like almost part of crews, this and that, make your own crews, like get real known, blah, 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 and not having dropped any music while you're just perfecting your craft. Don't be in no rush to drop anything. When you make your entrance, like really make your entrance. You can be everyone in the whole, every hip hop artist in the whole country can know you if you're getting out and about and knowing everyone and making the right moves, collabing with people, going to studio sessions, going to events, like supporting people, this, that, blah, blah, blah. So just perfect your craft, but at the same time get amongst the culture and know everyone, because it's only going to benefit you. Like,
100%.
if you know what I mean, like you want everyone to know you. You want to be
absolutely.
And you want to have good, strong connections with the people that you want to work with in the future as well.
Well, there's going to be a disconnect. It's not going to make any sense. It's like you're trying to help people and work with people, but they don't know you, so why would they be open to that? Or you might hear a cool beat or something like that, and you'd be like, "Fuck, this is sick!" Like, let's jump on that.
And also for a culture that's popping for the first time. Like, if you're an artist in Australia wanting to, make hip hop and get involved in shit, like, for a culture that's popping for the first time, and as we're talking about so much about, like, supporting each other, about getting behind each other's band, it's such a community, you know what I mean? As we're talking about, a whole city gets behind each other and pops off, you know what I mean? You need to be part of that.
Yep.
Like, of course, there's different people who don't fuck with other people and this and that, blah, 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 but get out and about and be amongst it, you know what I mean? Have networks, have good relationships with people in the culture.
Need them. Yeah, kind of like there's the two things. People's like, it's not what you know, it's who you know.
It's collaborative. It's like the most collaborative genre and
100%.
the most natural, raw, supported, and not what you know, who you know us.
But then also not that. It's like there's people say it's not what you know, who you know, but it's not who you know, it's who knows you. Like, at the end of the day, you can be doing shit. If no one knows you, fuck, man, it's going to be hard to send that email.
Yeah, exactly. There's a disconnect. There's no actual connection.
And to be
there.
real, hip-hop's like, hip-hop works very...
Hip-hop's its own beast. From where it comes from, from where it was founded.
Exactly.
From,
we were having this conversation before that, like, how do you hustle in hip-hop? Like, I can't remember the exact question. And I was like, pretty much, like, how do hip-hop people move? Like, take the street mentality, take the trapper mentality, take the robber mentality, take the scammer mentality, and bring that into any form of business. And that's type of level that you're dealing with. So that also means that in terms of how relationships are formed on that front and how trust is formed on that front, it's not no fairy floss shit, you know what I mean? It's someone's energy, someone's real. If you're around them and done business with them and break some bread with them, you know what I mean? You've got that trust, you've got each other's back. Like hip hop really works like that, about like physical like relationships with people, you know what I mean? Like face to face, like doing work together, breaking bread, honesty and trust, you know what I mean? People are much more inclined to open and respond to an email of someone that they really trust and someone that they have done work with.
I think that translates to most areas of the music business, and I wish it worked more that way for most genres, because it can work that way.
Yeah.
You know, but I just think that there's some people that are out there that are hesitant or that think that they have to do it themselves, and, you know, they're kind of stuck in their ways and don't know the right way about going out and networking and just meeting people and getting in amongst the scene. And you see the same faces all the time. Like Australia's a small place, Melbourne's a small place.
That's what I'm saying. It is,
you know,
it's like one city, you know what I mean? Like it's a really small place. Like I travelled for, what did I say, like 4 or 5 years around and got to know like pretty much everyone in the industry, all the artists, shit. Like it's not a big place.
I think the reason I see some people early on struggle with that when they're like, oh, I'm trying to network, or it's because they're looking for, they're not networking just to develop real trust over time and long-term meaningful relationships. They expect that if they go to someone's gig that they're going to get this offer straight away.
Yeah.
And they said they want this instantaneous. It's like, oh, what was the point of going to that last Thursday when they didn't even see me? It's like you're missing the point.
You are,
like
absolutely.
It's like you can't give with the expectation of something in return. Then you're not giving.
Exactly.
You're fucking manipulating.
Exactly.
So you've got to actually want to build value and shit. Like, fuck, go down, come to the studio and hang out with someone and actually fucking talk to them and then leave without asking
That's what
someone
I'm
else
saying
to
about
put you
energy.
on.
Energy, be genuine. Like if you're around a studio session and you like bringing weird energy and constantly trying to fucking like Instagram people and this, that, you know what I mean? People are going to be like, make sure that person's never around a studio when I'm here again.
Yeah. Or even like, trying to like do push yourself up higher than everyone else. It's not going to work.
Just be real. Like, legit. That's why we call my label like Real Music Family, because like the most important thing to us is just being real. Whatever version of that is, just don't pull no strings, don't play no games, don't just be fucking straight with it, you know what I mean? So in any setting, in anywhere, and I've found that brings you the most respect. Like people like respect you and see your energy and see you as like an equal straight away if you're just raw and honest and 100% all the time, because it means the way that you carry yourself is with confidence. If you're just you all the time, you know what I mean? You're not worried about how this person's looking at you or how you look or this and that. So if you walk into a room, you're not trying to, I need to make sure this person knows me or this. You're just you're comfortable with who you are.
Totally.
And people feel that energy and like, I fuck with this person. You know what I mean? Exactly how we do to people. Like,
because you can tell when someone changes their behaviour because they know you're watching.
Yeah, there's a level of discomfort.
Yeah, and Tones, like me and Tones were talking about this because he's taking on some new people to mentor now. And he's like, you know, he's just fucking sick of these people, and when they're in the room with you, they just act one way. And you're like, dude, everyone can tell this is bullshit. Like, we can see this. So he's like, now, you know, what he'll do, he'll fucking watch for people over months and see who's actually doing this shit. And you watch their real behaviours as opposed to what they do when they're in the fucking room with you. Or when the, hey man, come, and then they're like, you want to see how people really fucking are. But again, like, that takes time. Like, it takes time to build real relationships.
Yeah.
Takes that, like the first time when we fucking grabbed a burger, that was probably like fucking nearly 8 months ago or so now. Like, just started talking about stuff. Yeah. And, you know, when we had it, we're like, fuck, we can get all this shit started. Like, it takes time. It takes fucking time.
But you can know, like, straight away from, like, the first minutes around being around someone. Like, we can all, like, fucking the amount of times I've been, like, around, you know, on tour with, like, big artists or whatever. And I think that's why big artists feel comfortable around me, and, like, why managers and festival people always feel comfortable to bring me around big artists is because they just feel comfortable. They don't feel like someone's watching me or this, that, you know what I mean? It's just like, you are who you are. You are who you are. You're in the room, you're as you are. So, like, I've been in heaps of situations where someone else has come to a session or this or that, and they're acting weird, you know what I mean? It just throws off the whole energy of the room.
Yeah.
People know it straight away. You can tell it straight away, you know what I mean? But then the flip side of that is if you are yourself, anyone you walk into a room with or anyone you meet, and this is like what I've kind of learned by being this way, is that people are so receptive to you and so fucking comfortable with you straight away. And like that person could be around anytime. Anytime I'm in this city, yeah, we can fucking hang, anything, you know what I mean? And they're just so comfortable being around you because you're not invisible. You're just not adding any energy anyway to the room. You're just yourself. You're there. You're not adding any pressure to anyone to do anything. Like if you're yourself and you're comfortable, just like every other artist who's traveling the world is, you're not fucking feeling weird about stepping out of the room or something's going on to have a cigarette. You're just doing you're living your life, you know what I mean? Everyone respects that, you know what I mean? Exactly. You're not worried about, I have to sit here quiet like this. Should I be worried about moving a little bit to grab my phone? Nah, just fucking be comfortable, be you, you know what I mean? Everyone can feel that, like, and that's going to come back to you as well. People are going to be able to be themselves around you, and that's going to make them fucking comfortable. It's going to make your relationships good, you know what I mean?
100.
And the thing about being real as well is if you're 100% real yourself and you're around other people that, you know, are being themselves as well, you're going to be able to tell, is this the energy I want to be around or not? As well.
Absolutely.
Like, okay, do I want to continue hanging out in this setting around these people? Is this something meaningful to me or not?
And it's okay if it's not.
Exactly.
You just got to own up to that and realise that.
Keep it moving. Be nice to people. If that's the way that you are, that's not for me, but it doesn't mean I dislike you or whatever. Do your thing, I'm going to go do mine. Like, okay, this isn't the type of people I want to be around. Just be real with it all the time. Doesn't mean you start having to go or nothing. Enjoy your time, finish up, whatever. Go move on. Just doesn't mean you have to be there again. Like,
correct.
Yeah, just keep it real and just keep it moving all the time. Like anything that stops you, like anything that like stops you from enhancing. Like we always say this, me and my brother Matt always say this. If this is where you are now and like this is where you're going to, like you don't know the amount of time that takes, but every minute that you stopping, it means that's a little bit further away. You don't know when that finish line is that you're working towards. You don't know when that day comes, but every moment that you're chilling and not working towards that, it's taking a bit longer. It's taking a bit longer. You don't know where that is.
That's cool. I like that.
Yeah, so you just got to keep it moving constantly.
And you have to understand what your goals are, because if you don't have a vision of what your goals are or what that path is, you're not going to know what's the best way to go towards it.
100%.
We always talk about it all the time, like, you know, there's never this straight path. There's always going to be things that, but you need to have a vision. You need to have this understanding of, okay, what do I want? You know, as I was talking about before, like the people that are just starting, it's like, have a vision. It might not go the way that you think it does, but the vision is what's important, because then you're going to take those steps that you said, that you're not questioning yourself, you're not kind of stuck. You're going to be like, no, this is where I need to be, and I'm going to move towards that as soon as I possibly can.
Yeah, 100%.
Yep.
100%.
I love it.
Yeah, that goes on, like, pretty much lines up with this, like, regret shit I was talking about the other day. That's probably the exact same thing. Like I said, it comes in, like, two forms. It comes in when you're looking back on stuff, like when you're making decisions, essentially, like your regret or what's stopping you from moving comes in, like, two forms. It comes in, like, perspective, and it comes in actions. So, like, you should always be trying to do the right thing and trying to move towards the right way. But if you make the wrong decision, you know what I mean? It doesn't mean you've fucked everything up.
Yeah.
That's when your perspective comes in and you go, okay, now I know not to move in that way.
Yeah, now we've learned from that.
I'll move in the right way from now on. So, like, just always constantly be trying to always keep it moving forward and trying to make the right decisions. But if you make a wrong decision, you know not to make that now.
Yep.
Keep it moving.
From it,
You know what I mean?
You'll avoid it next time.
That's a lesson. You know what I mean? Keep it moving. But if you look at that as like, oh no, I've made the wrong decision. What do I do now? You know what I mean? It can pause shit. It can break shit for you. You know what I mean? So it's just about constantly keep moving, and you never stop learning. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Till the day I fucking die, I'd never want to stop learning and getting better. Getting better at everything. You know what I mean?
100.
Yeah.
Nice.
Absolutely.
Fuck yeah, that was good. I like that analogy. Sweet. Well, I think we're kind of fucking wrapping things up here. Where can everyone find you on socials? Anything you want to plug? What do you got coming up?
New Dollaz website is dropping very, very soon. That's absolutely flames. Got heaps more content from the culture coming through there. So that's going to be a really nice HQ for everything going on. The website's been nice for the past couple of years, but this is just a whole nother level. It's time to fucking, really take a step up.
We've seen it. We agree.
Yes, sir.
Everyone that's been putting work into that has been going nuts. So, also I've got projects galore dropping this year. And I've been saying that for the past couple of years, but it's time now. We've done some stuff with the label. Everyone on the label has got demo projects galore. I think the boys in the studio over there creating a whole nother one right now.
Yeah.
They've written 3 or 4 tracks today. Shout out C Wills and Zed Lewis.
Yeah, just got into Melbourne this morning.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So yeah, a couple projects from me this year. There'll be like, I think it's like 3 or 4 EPs. They're all with like different producers. And then there's like a bigger body of work towards the end of the year. You can find me pretty much Stevie Juñor RMF anywhere. If you type in like RMF or Real Music Family anywhere or AE Dollaz, you'll be able to find me.
Yep.
Or just type in Marshall Street Studios and you'll be able to find me somewhere there. Or just come to Marshall Street Studios and I'll probably be here.
That's a fair equation of time that you're going to be there.
Yeah, that's what's up. Shout out.
Nice, awesome. Thank you very much for joining us today, dude. It was
Thank
a
you,
fucking
man.
pleasure.
Of course.
And we'll let you get back into the fucking studio with your label.
Let's get it. Let's go.
Yeah.
Shout out.